So right now, other than the potential story DLC Nomura mentioned, we have quite a lot of information to go through, which are our stepping stones to the future arc and installments of the series, from Kingdom Hearts III itself, interviews, and the Kingdom Hearts III Ultimania. Kingdom Hearts Key back cover, Kingdom Hearts Key, and Union Cross also contribute. I've collated this information and my own observations and beliefs as I think is necessary in this video. Keep in mind this is pretty big points towards the future of the series, and any of this could be subject to change because we don't have a whole lot to go on. There will be theorising of the future here since I can't give an exact answer on what is coming next, but my ideas are made taking the past into account and a lot of in-depth observations because I'm a sad person who looks to Kingdom Hearts a lot in my free time, and if I'm any bit down, I will look to the sad moments of the series to make myself feel worse. Yes, everyone, welcome to my Dark Fest on what I think will be coming next in one of my favourite game series. So we'll start with the future arc, considering it is the most direct piece of information we have received about in the epilogue of Kingdom Hearts III. We see the foretellers, excluding Ava, return in the Keyblade graveyard and approach a hooded figure, who turns out to be Luxu, who is Brig/Zigbar, who has been jumping vessels all this time, manipulated Xehanort, and lived up to his apparent role. We finally see the box reappear, but we're no closer to seeing what is inside of it. Hell, the foretellers are just as confused over everything that is going on as we are.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Something I did notice that needs to be kept an eye on is despite Ava was excluded from being summoned back, one of the chess pieces Erika sets on the board after that scene has a fox head on it. And despite Luxu excluded her, the piece appears for the black side of the board, meaning she's on his and the foreteller's side. I do think this is fitting for if she were to return, because we see in back cover through the scene where Aced struck Gula down. Ava unconditionally ran to his side to protect him and leant over him to shield him, but she also didn't aim to attack Aced to stop him, which is something she could have done and succeeded in despite he is physically stronger than the others based on his body types in the fight scenes we see him back covered, because he was weakened. She didn't block his attacks at all, and instead shielded Gula with her own body without her Keyblade ready, meaning Aced could have struck her down if he wanted to. Also, unlike the last game, Xehanort and Erika's do not refer to light or darkness when setting up this new game. Instead, Xehanort specifically calls them black pieces, meaning we finally may not have a conflict where our enemy is darkness, which is something I and many others looked forward to and wanted for a future arc. The future arc involving the foretellers brings multiple questions to light for this arc, which I will give my own opinions on the matter and my educated guesses with my reasoning. I'll start with the first, which is, who is the traitor from Kingdom Hearts Key back cover? We still don't know for certain, and I have my own questions before I can give an answer, because depending on how you answer my questions, depends on my own concept for how this is. Did the traitor act knowingly? Was betrayal their intention? I think the Master of Masters is the most likely one to be responsible, especially if the traitor did act knowingly and it was their aim to stab the others in the back, since we see the intentions of the foretellers and Luxu in back cover. They all actively trusted him and followed his teachings and the roles he gave them, and he was the one who instilled doubt in them by giving them all separate roles to not share with the others, having the unions be made separate from each other, and in competitive/rival based dynamics, which is shown in Union Cross, which ended up turning into malice, not allowing alliances between the unions, as well as mentioning a traitor in the first place without specifying who. By not telling them who the traitor was, he triggered all of them to doubt one another and act individually. The lack of communication escalated the events to the Keyblade War. Also, keep in mind the Book of Prophecies is written by him based on what No Name sees through the eye, so the traitor could be a lie to initiate the war he foresaw, which is a betrayal of sorts. Either that, or he foresaw his own way to instigate them and acted in the same manner. But if it's not him, and the answer is the traitor didn't act knowingly, or the betrayal wasn't their aim of their actions, then anyone is up to be targeted. The least likely traitors are Lushu, Invi, and Era, unless there is information we haven't seen on them yet, on why any of these three are the traitor. The most likely candidates are Ava or Gula, because they went against the group's aims. We see Ava's intentions were pure, but she aimed to strike Lushu because she thought he could be the traitor in Kingdom Hearts Key, and that triggered the bells to toll for the start of the Keyblade War. She may not have aimed to hurt anyone, but she knew she could have let him go and not aimed to fight. It was her actions which caused the battle to start, and all of them aimed to avoid the war or delay it, so in that sense she betrayed everyone's expectations. Gula also went against the intentions of the group, and aimed to summon Kingdom Hearts as well as disrupted the balance of light between the unions, in order to gather more looks to summon Kingdom Hearts. In Ava's and Gula's talk in back cover, Ava stated that summoning Kingdom Hearts was forbidden, and Gula disregarded it as long as it would bring their master back. The second question is, who exactly are organization members 9 through to 12? We know they were selected because of their ties to the Keyblade War, which was explained by Xemnas in Kingdom Hearts 3. We know who both Marluxia and Larxene originally were because of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, which were Lauriam and Elrina, who were each Keyblade users and Era's Union. Lauriam was a Union leader of the Dandelions who had his sister killed in Union Cross. We still need information on Demyx and Luxord. The reason I'm bringing this up is because they were all slain in the Keyblade graveyard, and they returned to being whole people once before now, so I do believe yet again they all could be restored during the future installment. I also do look to the possibility that either of them are tied to the Master of Masters as well. I don't think it's pure coincidence we see the Master of Masters in the secret ending, so he appeared in Shibuya potentially after his nobody was slain is a possibility in my mind. It's more likely to be Demyx than Luxord if one of them is the Master, based on his personality and attitude. Thirdly, who is the nameless star in the final world in Kingdom Hearts 3 who spoke to Sora? To be fair, I'm curious on who all of the stars are in that world, since they all have something they hold on to, which kept them from going to the abyss, even if they lost their form. But the one Sora speaks to is very significant, since we have a very clear guess on who it could be based on her world. Considering the mention of the person she is waiting for has had his heart replaced with another, and if he remembered, he would be worried about her, the only person we know of currently who suits the criteria of the person that heart was speaking about is Lauriam. Since his heart was given a fragment of Xehanort as Marluxia in Kingdom Hearts 3, and throughout Union Cross we see him mention his sister, and he clearly is wondering about how she died. Which makes the nameless star Strelitzia if who she is talking about is Lauriam. And we see through Sora it is possible to be restored from the final world, so I would assume it may be more difficult for those who no longer have their bodies, but replicas are a thing, so there would likely be some sort of method of bringing these people back. Especially considering the fact we now know a strong will can do incredible things in Kingdom Hearts, such as make your body remain and develop a heart of its own, so it is essentially a second life, which is shown by all the members of Organization 13 and nobodies as a whole. Preserve the heart so you end up going to the final world instead of the abyss, which is shown by all of the stars in the final world. And in unusual circumstances, appear back in alternate states if your body and heart are not accessible, such as a set of armor, or heartless, which is shown by the lingering will / terror. Then there are also the occasions where a person can be straight up restored without any conditions aside from being hugged by a young girl like Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1. Anyway, I think there is the possibility that Strelitzia could return, or characters could aim to bring her back. Either way though, this topic leads nicely onto my fourth question. Who murdered Strelitzia in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross? Since if Marluxia/Lauriam does return again, and he doesn't discover the answer within Union Cross, then it will be something he'll still be searching the answers for. And if Strelitzia returns somehow, we saw her die, and neither we nor her saw her kill her in Union Cross. We know she was going to be a Union leader, and the person who took her place is Brain/Blaine. But that doesn't necessarily mean he is the killer. If anything, him murdering her contradicts his aims from what we see in Union Cross. The secret reports in Kingdom Hearts III mention one of the new Union leaders was a virus in the program. Brain refers to himself in the same manner, but Brain wanted to change the course their world was making, which was towards the Keyblade War. If that was the case, then why would he kill Strelitzia? The violence and distrust caused from killing her is the sort of mentality which was responsible for the war coming about. I do think he made good on her death by joining the Union leader position from her dying, but I have mixed feelings on him actually killing her. We have the assumption it was likely a Union leader who killed her, and the two Union leaders we know for a fact didn't, Ephemer and Scold, because we saw their actions in the story during the same time. And I highly doubt it was Lauriam with an extreme case of a bipolar disorder or dissociative disorder. So it's down to either Brain or Ventus. And I think Ventus is more likely to have murdered Strelitzia, but I also think he gains nothing from killing her. So, if he is the killer, then he did it acting on his darkness rather than for anything specifically. This fundamentally works with what we know about Ventus too. Xehanort split his light and darkness, and we have no idea how they came into contact in the first place, but Ventus's darkness is a powerful entity of its own. We see Vanitas in action, and he is no pushover and has no moral restraint on his actions. His only aim was to be whole. When he temporarily merged with Ventus in Birth by Sleep, he, the darkness, had control of their body. In Aqua's final fight in that game, we face Ventus like that. His darkness has more power than his light, and the Unversed are an entity created from the emotions that spew out of his darkness. Potentially literally, if Nomura says the light novels are to be taken as canon. And even if so far Ventus in Union Cross hasn't shown any signs of darkness beyond the Keyblade he wields there, which is missing Ache, it is clear the darkness in him is either just not as obvious yet, or it has yet to grow. This darkness in Ventus could have been his influence to kill Strelitzia, even without him having a personal drive to murder her. And as a tie-in, is Vanitas gone for good or will he return? We see in Kingdom Hearts III that he was able to return, and he explains it being due to the Unversed being able to reconstruct his heart from the negative emotions of children in Monstropolis. The Unversed are surprisingly able to exist without Vanitas, meaning as long as even one remains, they can reconstruct him. And even if there weren't any Unversed, Ventus is still around, and is who Vanitas originally was, so would he even fully disappear? The final question is, who is Subject X? Subject X is mentioned by Axel and Sayax, as well as Ansem the Wise and Ansem Seeker of Darkness. She is detailed more, however, in the secret reports, where it is explained she was described in Report 3 as being found in the central square of Radiant Garden, female, approximately 15 years old, as well as suffering from amnesia. If Strelitzia is the nameless star, then there are only two girls we know of who Subject X could be, which are Skuld and Ava. I believe she's more likely to be Ava, based on the fact she was written to have muttered, "May your heart be your guiding key." And it would explain why Ava didn't appear in the Keyblade graveyard when Lucius summoned the other foretellers. Without memory, she would have no reason to appear when called. Though I also have a personal issue with this concept as well, since I don't believe Ava would run from the battle of the Keyblade War without a good reason, considering she believed in the others and cared for them, so would she really abandon them to die? We see in Kingdom Hearts Key she struck Lucius, so she was initially in the battle, but what he told her could have given her a reason to leave the fighting with a new goal. There is no way for us to currently know. What we do know is Nomura has been sneaking hints of her into the epilogue of Kingdom Hearts III, and there was another hint out of the games. We've all seen the artwork of Sora sat on the throne for Kingdom Hearts III, but have you all seen the art Nomura released for the 15th anniversary of the series, which was the pencil drawing of that art, but with details that are missing from the final version? We find in promotional material the art book and the cover of the Kingdom Hearts III Ultimania. In the photo frames there were references to The World Ends With You, and other little secrets, but more importantly, on Sora's lap there was an animal that is not present in the final version, which is presumably based on body type, a fox. The animal very significant to Ava. Nomura explained in interviews and the Ultimania that he wrote many concepts for how Kingdom Hearts III would end, and I believe this drawing was a hint that either Ava was meant to have a role in the ending herself, or is a hint towards the future that she is still around and will appear again. Now that the questions for the new arc are out of the way, I want to go into what the next installment could involve, since we have gotten a hint towards it, and I doubt the DLC will go into this since Nomura mentioned in the Ultimania that Xion will be involved, and in the Kingdom Hearts III Orchestra this year, we got the potential title of the DLC, which is Remind. What an interesting name that doesn't at all hint on the fact that Xion didn't originally have her memories of Roxas and the others, because she was taken from the past before she had a real deep connection with Roxas, and that none of the others remembered her, and they did once they came into contact with her again. So she remembered in the moment that where she and Sora clashed and Roxas called out to her. Anyway, Nomura has been a very good boy to us.
I've got a golden ticket. I've got a golden twinkle in my eye. 'Cause I got a golden ticket. I got a golden chance to make my way.
Some of you might not have noticed that in the ending, after Sora fades away, Kairi moves her hand that Sora wasn't holding, and she has something in it. Something flat. That she seemed to either catch or pick up after he faded away, or that he may have given her just before he disappeared. There are only two items I think could match that criteria. The first being Kairi's good luck charm, which I doubt is what Kairi was holding, because of the reason she gave that charm to Sora and the purpose of that charm. Wayfinders are a charm created on Destiny Island using Thalassa, whatever their name is, shells, shaped after the Palpu fruit as a representation of a strong connection. Sailors use them for a safe voyage, and Kairi gave Sora it both in Kingdom Hearts 1 and in blank points before Dream Drop Distance. Kairi told Sora to bring the charm back to her as part of their promise. I don't think he would return that charm to her until he knows he would be able to be with her for good. The point of him chasing after her heart with the power of waking was so she wouldn't slip away again, and they could be together. So the other item thin enough to be the object Kairi was holding is Luxord's gift to Sora, the wild card, which Nomura hinted could play a role in Sora's return, in both the Dengeki PlayStation interview and the Kingdom Hearts 3 Ultimania. If it is the card, then my prayers from the Kairi video could potentially be answered, and that girl has the most potential she has ever had in the series. The next installment could have Kairi playable, and could show the means to bring Sora back, so he is ready to get back into the fight for the arc against the foretellers, which we see in the ending scene when Ericus lifts up his chess piece.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm!
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
We can all have hope for this at least. It's not a whole lot, and hopefully even if the DLC doesn't show the story move forward beyond the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, I am interested in seeing if there are any hints hidden away. I've heard that 2 items were added into the game when critical mode was added, but I don't plan on spoiling that for myself, and will instead wait to complete my own playthrough before I see the items and start theorizing. I've heard it's related to The World Ends With You, but we'll see, won't we? Until then, this is all we have to currently go on and look out for in the future. Thanks everyone for watching. Yet again, another long discussion video, and here is where I'm going to mention my aims for the future. Once the critical mode run of Kingdom Hearts 3 is done, I plan on live streaming different games. This channel won't exclusively be for Kingdom Hearts, and I'd also like to discuss and play other game series I love with you guys. I mentioned on Twitter my aims to get a capture card at some point, so we can go into the Nintendo Switch games too, as well as be less restrained by PlayStation since it loves to block out certain parts for streaming in a number of games. Atlus still hasn't removed its block on Persona 5, and I do eventually aim to go through Persona 5 Royal, and hope to share that with you all. PlayStation broadcasting isn't bad, but you have more control and better quality by using a capture card. I'm hoping to make discussions on other games as well. Kingdom Hearts will stay on the channel forever because I love the series and I know the rest of you do too. But I feel there is more than just one series we can all enjoy together and think a lot about. Though, for now, I have plenty of discussion videos to plan for Kingdom Hearts. At some point I will make a list of some of the games I want to share with you guys. If you all want to keep up to date with me, I have a Twitter which involves me sharing things I like and talking about my opinions on things outside of gaming, as well as on gaming as well. I also made a Discord for this channel, though it needs a lot of work, but it was just because it's difficult to have a fluid conversation through YouTube comments, so hopefully it makes the interaction between members of this little community we've got going so far a lot easier. Have a good day, everyone.
When you are away, you don't hear me say please. Oh baby, don't go simple and plain is the way that you make me feel tonight. It's all